By asking, is it okay if I address you by your first names during the question period? Thank you.
I've done it clearly.
Earl, Earl, we're going to start with you. And we're glad that you could make it.
Thank you.
Question number 1. Why are you running for this office, and what experience and skills would make you the strongest candidate? Include experience you have prioritizing expenditures and managing a budget. I can repeat that if you'd like.
No, I'm fine with the question. I'd like to thank everyone first for having me here today, and I know I have a little bit of time to explain what I've done for the 53 years of my life in less than 2 hours. But I'd like to say the reason for running for office, my reason for running for the seat of County Commissioner of District 2 is to take the knowledge that I've learned and experienced from my town commissioner position and continue to grow from experiences yet discovered as a county commissioner. If elected, I will take my love and passion of Cecil County to continue to preserve the quality of life in which the county has offered and provided services that all the taxpayers deserve. There's a lot of things I could talk about, my major issues in the county, how to create the environment of a positive communication with the delegation and state legislatures. You know, I know that's a big break right now, is being able to talk to our legislators and our state representatives. One of the things, if I become a county commissioner, I want to make sure that there's an open door policy between any issues that we bring for the county. Whether or not we're running the government or they're running it, we should be on one page, one accord, and be able to work for the taxpayers in the county. I don't have a problem having issues with someone having a negative issues with something I bring to the table. But if it's brought to the table from the citizens, I think it should be heard and dealt with as a group and worked with it as a group and finalize the answer collectively. Thank you.
Thank you. Terry, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, thank you. I also want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We have a very important election on November 2nd, and I'm sure that you all heard tonight that early voting starts tomorrow at the county building, so there's certainly many opportunities to participate. I also want to thank Earl for being here tonight and publicly commend him for being willing to commit to run a clean race. Earl and I spoke several months ago, and we agreed that if I was the one who won the primary race, that we would commit to each other to run clean campaigns, and I want to publicly thank Earl for that because that's very meaningful, and I think all of you deserve that. Why I'm running for county commissioner is because I believe that Cecil County is at a very, very important crossroads. We all know the situation at the federal level, the situation at the state level. We all know people or have ourselves experienced unemployment, cutback in our wages. We are dealing with declining property assessments in our community and housing situation across the nation. It's a very critical time. I believe that my experience and my background makes me uniquely qualified to be your next county commissioner from the 2nd District. I have been both a fiscal and a legislative analyst for county government, for the schools and for county government prior to moving here. I have enormous amount of budget experience, not only creating and executing budgets, but probably most importantly, cutting them and knowing where and when to cut. My legislative experience has taught me how to build those great working relationships that are so important. Our issues don't start and stop at our geographic borders, and therefore it is critical for us to be able to work across party lines to move forward and move our county forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike, would you, Mike?
You call me by your name, Mike.
Earl, would you like to respond?
Yes, I would respond. I didn't recognize, first of all, most important person in my life is my wife here. I'd like to thank her for coming, supporting me, because it's through some of the things that we talked about as a family that I'm even involved with the county business that I am into. I've been a Board of Education member, adding budgets to the county, cutting budgets, but I try to make sure that we make sure that the jobs are kept on the books. We have good qualified teachers, we have police officers. I want to make sure that we keep jobs, not cut jobs. I want to make sure that we work with the budget within our means and make sure that we meet the taxpayers' demands. We don't want to raise taxes, we want to keep business and make business grow. Thanks.
Terry, would you like to respond?
In addition to the government experience that I have, I am also uniquely qualified, having been the former executive director of the Cecil County Chamber of Commerce and a small business owner myself. Applying good business principles to government is something that can be done and should be done. We should look at everything effectively and efficiently and evaluate if it's something that needs to be done or can it be done cheaper or less expensively. So I believe that between my experience between county government and in the business community, that makes me very uniquely qualified and ready day one to step into the role of a county commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Terry, you'll be first for question number 2. The school system consumes about 47% of the annual budget. How would you plan to keep the cost down, stop administrative expansion, build a technical high school, and more closely align school employee benefits with the rest of the working world? Would you like me to repeat? The school system consumes about 47% of the annual budget. How would you plan to keep costs down, stop administrative expansion, build a technical high school, and more closely align school employee benefits with the rest of the working world?
It's true that the largest portion of the county's budget is the portion that goes toward public education. As we look toward the future, it is incredibly important for us to have a qualified workforce in order to attract businesses that are going to create jobs for us in the future. So that is a commitment that we need to continue to remember. Along with that, though, I think it's very important for the county commissioners to be partnering with our school system. There are many efficiencies that we could share. There are probably many services that we might be able to share in terms of keeping costs down also. I think it's important to state that the school board works with the school administration in terms of presenting a recommended budget to the county commissioners to approve. So the county commissioners don't actually have very much say in terms of what is presented, certainly to the county commissioners. But I believe strongly in partnerships. And I think that that's something that we will need to continue to do. There's a good partnership now, I think, with the public schools and the county commissioners, but I think that needs to be improved. We need to work collectively together as we look toward the future, and we know that the budget shortfalls that we're going to be facing, it's going to be imperative that we do so.
Earl, would you like me to repeat the question for you?
Yeah, that'd give me time to breathe a little bit.
The school system consumes about 47% of the annual budget. How would you plan to keep the cost down, stop administrative expansion, build a technical high school, and more closely align school employee benefits with the rest of the working world?
Well, being a Board of Education member for 7 years, I served a term where I know we had to cut the budget. We was doing everything possibly we could to try to keep our students educated, our teachers employed, and also at the same time keep from having to cut staff. There's many times we had to make some adjustments, even though we worked within our means of our budget. We made adjustments where we was able to succeed this and keep the amount of employees that we had and still operate on the budget that was given to us from our state level. Even though our funding comes from our state, we really can't dictate how much we're going to do. We just got to take what's given to us and try to make sure it's divided in a way that it's educating our children. I have educating is valuable to create an environment of a positive communication with our delegation and our state administration in order to create our opportunities for children to learn and equip children with the material and tools needed to succeed, to ensure that our teachers are skilled and given opportunities to enhance that level of learning and provide schools with the necessary space comfortable to teach each child to the fullest. The technology school should have been up and running by now. We're overcrowded. We know there's a need for space for our kids, but yet we still keep doing the same thing, not making changes because we're working on a budget given to us, but we're not looking and seeing exactly what is needed for the kids. Yet we want to operate on the portables, which I've dealt with for a whole 4 to 5 years, and I know that was bad for the children. But when you look at the education system, you've got to find out how can you make it work. You can't keep the same thing over and over and expect changes to come if you don't allow changes to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Terry, would you like to respond?
No, thank you.
Okay. Would you like to respond to anything?
No, sir.
Thank you. Question number 3, Earl. you're first. Cecil County's latest recorded unemployment rate is 10.5%, almost 1% higher than a year ago. At the local level, what specific actions would you take to improve the economic situation in Cecil County?
Well, I have some good news before I even start to say this. As of last night in the town meeting, I was told that there is being some papers submitted in to the old Walmart building, and I want to be the first to say this, and there's going to be another 300 to 400 jobs coming. So that's a good thing because we're getting an olive garden in the old Walmart building. And after that, we're going to have a Red Lobster following right after because of a chain. In the building that is there right now, the doctor's office will open early part of January. So that's good news for some, and for others, it's still good news because there's going to be jobs. What I like to say is we have to have a strong economic department so that we can bring new jobs and opportunities for people to be able to work. Once we get these jobs up and running, people will start spending again and being able to enjoy an affordable life living style that they had before. Hopefully, with the new jobs coming, it won't put a burden on the taxpayers, and we will be able to live a happy life like we thought we was going to do years ago. Thank you.
Terry?
There are a couple of ways of approaching this, and I will admit to you right from the beginning that I'm not an expert in how to fix unemployment, and unfortunately there's no magic wand. But if we look at this, I think we can look at it from two perspectives. One is globally, one is locally. From a global perspective, what I believe the commissioners should be doing is doing everything that they can to attract businesses. And what that means is it is absolutely critical that we get infrastructure in our growth corridor. And once that happens, then we will have the ability to attract businesses to the designated growth corridor, which is where we want them. The second part of that is a local perspective. The local perspective is that we have many businesses in Cecil County currently that have been struggling with unemployment, with having to lay off employees. And I think it's imperative that the commissioners spend time looking internally to see if there are any barriers that exist right now that should be taken away that can help businesses grow or new businesses to be created. So I think with that two-tiered approach, I think that's something that would help with the unemployment in Cecil County.
Thank you. Would you like to
Thank you, Mike. I would.
respond?
Now again, Terry, I'm not going to fight you up here today, but the thing is I promise not to. And with my years of experience as a town commissioner, this statistics about the Route 40 corridor, it's going on and on about how we're going to fix it, how we're going to create a better structure. Words and numbers cannot fix it. You have to actually physically come up with a plan and deal with it. The things that I hear over and over about the Route 40 and I-95 corridor, I can hear that the next 10 years and nothing be done about it. The thing is, what are we going to do? What we need to do as a community, all of the municipalities need to come together and figure out what we need for each other instead of just one municipality. Northeast, Prairie, Ryan, Sun, Elkton. We all need to figure out what we can come together as a group and come down with a main goal and say, let's take it to the county commissioners.
Terry, would you like to respond?
I would. Earl, I absolutely agree with you. It's imperative to come up with a plan and execute that plan. And over the past few years, the Cecil County Commissioners have been working very hard to do that in terms of implementing growth in that growth corridor. It's not done yet. We have some challenges still. There's a lawsuit over the sale of county assets to Artesian that's still to be settled. The county is still working on negotiating the final details of an agreement with the town of Port Deposit in terms of their wastewater treatment so that the west end of Cecil County can also have opportunities to grow. One thing that I will commit to do as a county commissioner is to make sure that our Council of Governments is meeting, operating, and that there are good working relationships between the town and the county.
Thank you.